The Salvation Army first blazed to life in Canada in 1881, when Commissioner George Scott Railton led meetings in Halifax en route to the United States. Pioneered by such enthusiasts as William Freer, Walter Bailey, Jack Addy, and Joe Ludgate. While Canada grew as a country, so did our army. The light spread from Ontario outwards to St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador in the east, Vancouver Island in the west, then to Canada's far north, first in Yukon, then Yellowknife in the Northwest Territories, and finally to Nunavut's capital city of Iqaluit. The Army spread to Bermuda in 1895. Lieutenant David Smith was one of the first Salvation Army officers to hold services in Bermuda, followed by Ensign Luty de Brise, who officially established the Salvation Army in Bermuda a year later. By this time, those sparks had become a bright flame. Nearly 80,000 people were attending Sunday night meetings in Salvation Army barracks across the territory. The years have brought great joys and losses, pandemics, wars, and natural disasters. Our God has been faithful in the midst of isolation and periods of deep loss. But time and again, the Army has persevered, always together. Examine in the following 3 stories. While performing with their concertina band in hospitals, Captain Stella Passmore, along with the other officers, were pressed into nursing service by doctors desperate for help.
We changed our blue serge for white uniforms, and for some months we toiled from house to house, leaving our coats on the garden gate, a flu mask over our nose and mouth. We had to help as many as possible, sat with the dying, praying and trying to bring comfort to the bereaved. We also conducted funerals, all out in the open. God was very gracious to us.
From the Spanish flu to both world wars, and throughout the Cold War, God's grace allowed the Salvation Army to brighten more dark spaces by sending personnel to support our fighting troops. They cared for the body, mind, and soul of every service person, irrespective of creed or personality. They provided the reassuring link between the fighting man and his world of peace and kindness and sanity. The Salvation Army is known as a true friend and comforter, particularly during periods of war. And we continue to be there for those fleeing war. Debbie Clark, a senior soldier at Winnipeg's Heritage Park Temple, shares a story from her recent deployment to Romania, serving Ukrainian refugees.
Home and family and trauma of separation and flight from war were on the minds of every refugee. We hugged, and I assured her of our prayers. I soon realized this is where God wanted me. I needed to be a friend, to listen, to be a shoulder to cry on, to be the hands and feet of Jesus. You see, I couldn't stop the war, but I could journey part of the trip with them. Any individuals that God put in my path.
Today, the Salvation Army serves more than 2.7 million people each year in Canada and Bermuda. Our ministries range from worship gatherings to youth outreach and day and overnight camps, all a bright spot in our communities. You'll even find expressions of core life and broader ministry, including our annual powwow and celebration of culture in Pine Lake, Alberta. From immigration support, prison ministry and hospital care, to helping people experiencing homelessness and poverty, to being there for those who need emergency disaster services, to so much more, our great army stands ready to serve. From serving overseas to here at home, the flame which started with sparks in 1881 continues to illuminate across the territory. God's light has rekindled as we have gathered over the past years. As friends, soldiers, and officers of God's army, we are ambassadors of Christ's light.
God bless every salvationist in this hall tonight and keep us faithful to our pledge. I charge you. God bless you.